marriages work better when men are in control.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
that's a mad thing. I can't lie. This doesn't even make sense.
I just feel like it's the definition of control. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like, in my definition is like, yeah, I feel like the guy is the head.
Yep.
So like,
Exactly.
it's not a matter.
He's the imam. He's the leader of the family.
Right.
He is the decision maker in the end. It's not to say that he has ultimate say and doesn't have to listen to anyone.
As the decision maker, he wants to know your opinion as well.
But that's the
And
sign
then
of a
he
good
makes-
leader.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he should be in control, but
So that we
there
can
are
live-
conditions to that. There
Yeah.
are certain adab that you need to have in order to be in that position.
Basically, I know both. Like, I know women, I know relationships that really work where the woman is like a more outgoing, kind of dominant like character. It's just what she's like, just what her nature and her character, and the guy is just calm and reserved. In terms of the major family decisions, yeah, I do think it's better if a man kind of has the last say because he thinks in general more. He generally thinks less emotionally and more like, you know what I'm saying. He can think more, kind of using his brain. Like, I'm not saying women can't use their brains, but a lot of the time emotional cloud of judgment sometimes with a woman, and that's like a positive for most of life. Like that's why women like nurture kids and stuff because they use a lot more emotion than we're able to.
Even in Islam, like women are the caretakers, and they have even been given that responsibility. Like when
Running
your
the
man
house.
is away,
Yeah.
you have to like honor his household. You know, you have to like honor him when he's away and keep the house in line. Like you are the second in command, but obviously when he's not there and you're taking care of the house and raising the kids and stuff, you're not going to call him for every single thing. That's not being in control, but having the final say. Like if you disagree on a way that your lives are going to be moving forward, someone has to be in that position that it's like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but this is my decision in the end. And Allah has given that to men. So that's the actual definition of submission in Islam. It's not about like being abused and like overpowered. It's knowing that Allah has put a certain wisdom and leadership in men's hands. Allah said men are the caretakers, you know, of women and their families. Okay, let's say you wanted to move to America for work.
Yeah.
Okay? And your wife was like, nah, we're staying here. Like it's gonna take your career where you want it to go. It is the next step for you. It is what you want for your life and for your family's life. And your wife's like, nah, we're
I'm gonna
staying
stay
here.
put still.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'll stay put. Because like at the end of the day, she's made more sacrifices. Yeah, first of all, and also, like I said, it just sits with me better. Like I don't have to make that.
He's like, I do not want conflict.
Yeah, like I think it's easier. Like if there's a mutual understanding of who kind of listens to who, yeah, then it's just less arguments, innit? And if I'm okay to be patient enough, that I will just listen to my wife.
Don't worry, you are gonna have a very easy time finding a
Inshallah.
wife because many women want to dominate their relationships.
Yeah.
See, I'm white.
I think
We forgot.
My parents don't care.
I think that again, that's the culture thing. Like for me, like I think it's important. I'd like to know that in the back of my head, I've got my mum's consent. Like I've got her approval because I don't know. I feel like I'm really close to my family and stuff like that in that sense. So if I knew that they don't agree with the person that I want to get married with, it's not gonna affect me just like completely, but it's gonna be like, oh, it's a bit of a bummer, isn't it? Like this is the person I want to be with, and it's gonna be difficult if my mum and dad aren't accepting them. Do you know what I mean?
This is where I see the starkest difference between like me and my in-laws. Like my parents and my in-laws, like their input in marriage and in the relationship and everything is so much more than my parents would ever think that they have the right to do. Like I'm an adult, I live on my own, I pay my own bills. Like they have zero control or even input into my life, which is like where the cultural thing really divides. Like white parents are like, haha, you're 18, you're on your own, I want nothing to do with you anymore. Whereas, you know, especially Muslim family, like different ethnicities, it doesn't matter, all Muslim ethnicities, they're like really involved with the next generation of
I see
marriage.
that as like
it's that
a not
collectivist and individualist culture. I remember doing it like English and Western countries, like they want their kids to get out of their house by the age when they're 18. But
that's
like,
why they end up in old.
With that, like my culture, like it's like they want to keep you in the house forever. Like it's us that have to say, look, we want to leave, and then they end up crying like, nah, we don't want you to leave. Literally, it is like that.
Oh no. Oh no. I'm just going by stats. Like, so if you're gonna go, because you said better, which one's better? Obviously, it depends on the individual case, and obviously in today's society, it's a bit harder to kind of for arranged marriage to sit alright with you, because it is a bit mad, like the way we've grown up to just marry someone. But in terms of statistics, yeah, just like my parents don't have an arranged marriage, and not many people I do know have one, but in terms of statistics, I think it just works better.
I think it's good in some senses. Like, as a revert, we often hope or wish that our families could, like, at least connect us with people, because I think that nowadays your only option, if you don't have a family network to like do it, is to go on an app and meet people you don't have any connection to, who aren't in your community, or like go to the imam and have some like 50, 60-year-old guy like who you're gonna marry who doesn't know you. Yeah. So I do like the idea of having like that family input, but I think the freedom to choose is probably better.
I think love marriage is harder. So I think it's better, but it's harder. But the thing is, with arranged marriages, I know, especially as Bengalis, I know there's a lot of people that say their parents don't get along. Like, I know some girls who don't get along with their dads because their mum and dad don't talk or anything like that, so it's a bit like an issue in that sense. So I think because with arranged marriages, from what I've seen in the past, they're not as successful. But again, you say from stats, I'm not looking at stats, I'm looking at people I know. Like, I'm saying like their parents don't get along. There's not that love connection there. I don't see it like between the mum and dad. I mean, there's like the connection of like they care about each other.
They usually stay together though,
yeah,
right?
they do,
That's
but that's because of the kids though.
I mean, if you're doing that, then you're probably from a very cultural background and you hold really strong cultural beliefs. So divorce is probably culturally not something acceptable. So to make that decision is harder. Whereas when you're going into it with just love, I mean, you've done it without any sort of like societal pressures from your community.
So you guys would want to like fall in love before you get married?
Not fall in love, but have
That's a love marriage, isn't it?
mutual. Yeah, but I mean, like that's like let's do it with the quotes, right? The Islamic version of that. But like to have, you know, mutual, you know, goals and ambitions and you know interests and things like that. Like to know the person and choose them based on who they are, not just because you're family.